Please rise for the presentation of the colors by the IMPD Honor Guard. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the invocation by Chaplain Patricia Holman.
Please join me in prayer. Father, we thank you for this glorious day. We thank you for this rite of passage now for these men and women who have committed themselves to service. We thank you for the wisdom that you've passed on to them through their instructors. Now we ask that you give them ears to hear, eyes to see, and a heart to serve with compassion. In your name we pray. Amen.
You may be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Catherine Cummings, and I'm the commander of the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department Training Bureau. I want to personally welcome you to the graduation ceremony for the 20th IMPD recruit class. The hiring process for this class, it opened in October of 2018. For well over a year, the men and women sitting in front of me were put through a series of tests and interviews before finally beginning their journey with us in this very gym on Monday, December 16th of 2019. The 20th recruit class was originally comprised of 65 recruits. Today, you see 50 highly trained and professional police officers sitting in front of you, each eagerly waiting for his or her chance to serve their fellow citizens of Indianapolis. As this graduation day grew closer, I spent time reflecting on the last 6 months with this class, and what a time it has been. This class, just to give you an idea, has endured a change in their commander, a change in their lieutenant, influenza, and a mystery virus that went through their class not once but twice in January and February, the global COVID-19 pandemic, the loss of a vibrant and young officer, Officer Leanne Breath, and now the cries of society demanding change, the type of changes in our society that happen once in a generation. They did all of that on top of all of their academic work and everything else expected of them. Each time one of these major events happened, I went down and talked to the class, and I assured them that each of these challenges will only serve to make them better. It will make them stronger individuals, it will make them better police officers, more compassionate, more understanding, and more capable of serving our community. I continue to believe this to be true as you take your first steps in your new roles. On behalf of the entire IMPD training staff, we are proud of your accomplishments, and today we celebrate you. As I've said to you before, I challenge each of you to always ask why and continue learning and developing each and every day. I look forward to watching you grow in your careers, and I cannot wait to see where you take this agency in the future. Thank you for choosing us and trusting the training staff as they prepared you to take this next step in your careers. At this time, I welcome Mr. Joseph Hogsett, the Mayor of Indianapolis, to the podium to offer a few remarks for today.
Well, thank you to all of our distinguished guests and my fellow speakers joining with us today. But most importantly, congratulations to the 20th graduating class of the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. Let's give them a round of applause. Members of the 20th graduating class, you are the first class of a new era in our city. You, in every sense of the word, are trailblazers. Appropriately, you have already broken precedent as the class with the largest population of women officers in IMPD history. And we are fortunate enough to be joined today by one of your trailblazing forebears, retired Lieutenant Diana Ferguson Mosley. God bless you, Diana. After 33 years on the force, Diana is now a representative of the Civilian Police Merit Board, fostering trust, fostering transparency throughout our community. And I am so very proud of her years of service as they continue in this new capacity. During the 3 decades that Lieutenant Ferguson Mosley was on the force, our city's police department saw many great changes, many great challenges. As the commander referenced, such as providing security for large national events like the Super Bowl in 2012 and the Pan American Games in 1987. The merging of IPD with the Marion County Sheriff's Department in 2007. The adoption of cutting-edge technology that we all now take for granted, like digital fingerprinting, which came online in 1989. Large events, structural changes, updated technology. IMPD has seen all of this before. Each time, this department emerged as a better protector, an even better protector of Indianapolis residents and Indianapolis neighborhoods. And today, of course, as was mentioned, you all are the first class to be sworn in after a pandemic and a wave of demonstration that has touched our city. I'll be honest, we will face many great challenges together. But as I stand here before you today, I remain optimistic. Because as I said, in every challenge faced in the past, our police have emerged as a better, more capable unit, a better, more capable protector. That is the heroism of our city's police. You are not here to escape challenge. You are here to meet it head on, to help build an even better, safer, more equitable home for residents of our city to enjoy. It is your selflessness, not selfishness, selflessness, and your dedication to this great city that makes serving alongside you the greatest honor of my career as mayor. So, once more, congratulations on today's great achievement. You've earned it, and I'm proud of you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor, for your continued support of the IMPD. And now I would like to welcome Chief Randall Taylor to the podium for a few words.
Good afternoon. Let me say it to you this way. Good afternoon, family, because that's what you are. If you don't know it by now, you have joined 1,600 plus men and women department that is family. So you have family and friends out here supporting you, which is great. And I will say congratulations to you all. But because you're family, let me tell you something else. Number one, you'll find out that I am not long-winded. I try to keep my remarks brief, and I'll try to do that here today. But the other thing you're going to find out is I'm a man of prayer. So I hope about 6:30 this morning you felt something going on in your spirit because I was praying for you. I pray for the officers of this department pretty much every day, not only for their safety, but for their wisdom. But I had a special prayer for you this day and this morning. My prayer was not only that you'd be safe and that you'd be wise, but that you'd understand what you mean to this department, but more importantly, what you mean to the community. I have 3 quotes for you. The first one is this: courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. That was by Winston Churchill. The importance to you of that particular quote is things have changed. Things have changed even since you've been in the academy. As was said earlier, you've dealt with COVID. You've dealt with the death of a very respected, admired officer. And now you're dealing with a change in how a lot of society looks at what you do and how you do it. But I have complete confidence in Commander Cummings and Major Williams, who trained you, and the other people that have trained you, that they prepared you for what's coming. So this is October will be my 33rd year in law enforcement. And I will tell you, The one thing I remember coming from Champaign, Illinois, it's about a 100-man department. And at that time, we probably had 5 women officers, which is terrible from the standpoint of how much they were needed. But I learned in talking with those 5 women officers how important it was for departments to have diversity. Not only racial, but gender. You've got 17 women in this class, to my count, which is fantastic. I would hope that as you move forward in your career, you'll not only speak with them, those that are your classmates, more like those who have been the trailblazers from before with Diana Ferguson Mosley, if you can get hold of her. She's an important person to know, not only because she did this for 30 plus years before you, but in her role on the merit board, she's the one who signed her name to you getting hired. She'll do the same for when you go for promotions. But an important person. And guys, I'm not saying that we're not important either, we are. But the hope is really that you explore the opportunities to get to know those men and women that are on the department that have some time under their belt, see what it's like, but also those who have retired from the department. It's important to know. Quote number 2 is this: when you think about quitting, remember why you started. Not so naive to think that there won't be times, difficult days ahead. Some of you will deal with it, experience it quicker than others. But there will be a time when you'll question, why did I do this? Why did I get in law enforcement? And I will tell you, after 33 years, I don't regret the move. I think it was one of the greatest jobs you could ever hold. And hopefully you'll feel that way too. But I won't say it's easy. You probably already know it's not easy. But if you ever get to that point where you feel like quitting, ask yourself, why did you start? Some of you started because you knew you had an opportunity to have a big impact on people in a positive way. Some of you knew that you're the type of person people go to get things fixed. Some of you knew that you're good listeners. Whatever it is that got you started, maybe you have family members that went before you in law enforcement. It doesn't matter, but it got you here in the door. Now you're getting ready to go out on the street and really handle the business. Keep in mind always why you started. Quote number 3. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. That was by Maya Angelou. Brothers and sisters in law enforcement, you will have the biggest impact on so many people when you treat them right and make them feel respected, make them feel like they're cared for. I started this out by saying you are family, and you are. And you have family here in the audience, but you also have family in the community. If we look at those members of the community as family, I guarantee we will treat them right. They'll feel respected. They'll feel cared for, and they're going to remember how you made them feel. That is important. Not only now with what we're going through nationally, but it's going to matter for our little slice of the nation, little Indianapolis. My hope for you, my goal for this department is that we are the best that we can be. My goal is that anyone I would ask in the community how they feel about the police department would be positive things that would be said. And we've got some work to do. We haven't always done it right. But I believe with you and with the other members of the department, we can and will be the best that we can be. And we'll have respect in the community. And that community will say, yeah, I know what goes on in other places. That doesn't happen here in Indianapolis. That's what I want to hear. Now, I'll leave you with this. The decisions you make and how you conduct yourself out there impact not only you, not only your district, not only this department. It goes much further than that. We saw what happened with Mr. Floyd, and we are all suffering for that. We didn't go out there and we didn't kill him. But the community still blames us, and rightfully so in some ways. I don't want us to make those mistakes. I want us to do what's right for everyone on this department, but for every other law enforcement official that puts on that badge and that uniform, whether it's in Indiana or across the country. Hopefully we're doing something that impacts in the positive. I believe we can do that. I congratulate you all from the heart. I love all of you. I hope you will show that same love and spirit and support for your fellow officers, for this community. I thank you.
Thank you, Chief Taylor. Now a quick video. I'm sorry to those on the stage, you won't be able to see it. That video seemed a lot longer when you can't see it. I would now like to welcome to the stage Recruit Officer Casey Seaton and FOP President Mr. Rick Snyder. Officer Seaton was selected by his classmates to deliver the class speech on behalf of the 20th Recruit Class.
Good afternoon. First, on behalf of our 3,000 active and retired members and their families, I just want to share how truly humbled I am to see women and men who are willing to don this uniform and now don this shield and step forward to stand the line on behalf of our community, your fellow officers, and the visitors to our city. It is remarkable, and I am profoundly grateful for your willingness to step forward. So thank you very much. It's my honor to introduce the class representative, Mr. Casey Seaton, Officer Casey Seaton, who will now share some remarks from the experiences on behalf of the entire class. I want to share, Officer Seaton, that there really is few greater honors than to be selected by your peers to represent them and provide voice for them so that they can remain focused on their work at hand. So congratulations to you. I also want to present Officer Seaton with an award recognition from our Fraternal Order of Police and wish you well. And we'll see you representing your officers even further in the future, I am sure. Congratulations.
Thank you. Unlike the chief, I am long-winded, so bear with me here. So I've known about this speech for a few weeks now, and normally that'd be plenty of time to write a 3 to 5 minute speech. Those are my parameters, even one tailored to 4 different audiences. Shout out to our virtual viewers there at home or wherever. But as I began to consider all that's happened during our academy, and as we were met with some of the most impactful civil unrest of our lives, my speech had grown about 8 pages too long. So you know what I decided? I decided that writing a speech about protests and George Floyd and use of force and coronavirus and Officer Leith and instructor changes and leadership changes and mystery virus and schedule adjustments, plus the normal trials and tribulations of an ordinary police academy experience, and getting it all said ideally within 3 minutes, but at most 5, is just not realistic. So I began to parse it down to just a few topics. And I eventually settled on starting my speech with this. My wife, Dana, is a kindergarten teacher. There's more to it than that. Dana says everything you need to know in life you learn in kindergarten. And I used to agree with her. Now respectfully, humbly, I disagree. I now say everything you need to know in life you learn in kindergarten and the 20th class. And as the 20th, graduating in the year 2020, on this 20th and 6th day of June, we're seeing just how clearly how challenging police work can be. But challenge, of course, is just opportunity and cheap clothing. Back in May, Chief Taylor said in an email, "We are in a difficult season, but I know we will endure, and we will do so by working together." Simple words, but resonant words. When I read that, I thought, endure is what this class is all about. If there's one thing we can do, it's endure adversity. That's one of the 2 versities that have come to define this class, adversity and diversity. For our class, adversity came early, often, and never really quit. Our first real dose, aside from the normal fear of every minute of every day of the first couple weeks of the academy, came during roll call, January 2. We should have seen that writing on the wall, welcome to 2020. Roll call, AKA stand at attention detention. Roll call, AKA the haunted house. Roll call, AKA the Pucker Palace. And specific to our class, roll call, the illest, AKA the infirmary. It's a place where you learn some of life's greatest lessons, like how to squat in suit pants. Roll call is traditionally rough enough on recruits, but after 2 weeks, We were comfortable. We took it next level. We introduced a Petri dish-inspired cornucopia of some of the gnarliest strands of cold and flu around, pre-Rona anyway. Over the next few weeks, we all got sick, and it seemed like half of us on that first day, myself included. Now, they say you ought to try to stay under the radar at the beginning of the academy. Well, I can tell you from experience that passing out while standing at attention, passing out again while sitting down, having a seizure, then needing a sternum rub to bring your yellowish-gray self back around is most definitely not a way to do that. You're pretty well out in the open at that point. I'll tell you though, getting pepper spray was a piece of cake after surviving January in this academy. That's not true at all. Getting pepper spray is absolutely terrible. You saw it in the video there. We didn't know it at the time, but sharing some mystery virus would actually end up on the milder side of adversity during our class. Now, I live with one belief held above the rest, and I think I get this from my dad sitting in the audience. That belief is that there's a positive in everything, in every situation, and I mean every situation. Take, for example, headline-making IMPD news. There was a lot of it this spring. But one bit of news that rocked our local world more than everything else, was the senseless killing of an incredibly young officer, Breanne Leaf. Everyone, even with top-notch training, with a perfect approach, with everything done right, knows that things happen. People get hurt. And unfortunately, we lose someone here that so many loved. With Officer Leaf in mind, please join me in a moment of silence to honor her and appreciate her family with us today. Thank you. I bring up Officer Leaf at this point, not only to pay her much due respect, but also to highlight how her death exemplifies what I'm trying to convey. That even within the pain of losing someone so special, so positive herself, there is still positivity to be found. Positivity of uniting a city, if only for a moment. Positivity of motivating recruits and officers and those whose lives she touched for a lifetime. Positivity that other young black and brown and mixed race, and you name the wonderfully diverse characteristic little girls, can see Officer Lee's image and know her story of service to our community, and know that with her bright smile, she brought love to our city. Love that will inspire some of those little girls to want to grow into young women that walk in Officer Lee's footsteps. Of course, that's no solace for the loss of a child, sister, mother, friend, but maybe it's something to help make sense of it all. Adversity found us again in a vastly different set of circumstances, as folks in Minneapolis experienced loss at the hands of a killer too. Only George Floyd's killer wasn't wearing street clothes. He was wearing the uniform, this uniform, that's supposed to say, I'm someone you can trust. In our academy, that homicide was met the very next day with a clear and direct response. We do not stand for this. This is not policing, this is murder. And it wasn't just words. Our training week was scheduled was completely scrapped as we spent the entirety of the next 3 days discussing our lawful uses of force, practicing our response techniques, and role-playing racially and ethnically sensitive scenarios for a multi-sided perspective. On top of all that, room was made for frank discussion about it. The rioting, the looting, the protests, and the change. Of course, the world's response wasn't about a single man's death, but about systems, ideologies, about us. That's why the protests matter. That's why our law enforcement response to them matters. The purpose of law enforcement is, ironically, to act as both a hindrance upon and guarantor of personal freedom. A powerful purpose that people trust us to fulfill. As Academy Instructor Officer Abney put it, it's a delicate trust that can quickly be taken away. Between those two murders, people seemingly went from loving the police to hating the police, regardless of who you were as an officer or a recruit. And I'm okay with that, thanks to some perspective from Sergeant Barrow. He referenced, of all things, the Dark Knight Batman movie. At the end of that movie, spoiler alert, the folks of Gotham City, where Batman works and lives, hated him despite his best efforts to do the right thing. But Batman, being Batman, took it in stride, saying he'll be whatever the city needs him to be. Essentially, his needs come second to the people he serves and protects. I'm beginning to understand that ebb and flow of public perspective. The people of our city grant us permission to do what we do, to even have jobs in the first place. So if they need to look at us as villains, we'll take that. It's not usually personal. If they want to look at us as heroes, we'll be that. And when we're seen as heroes, it's most often by kids. Kids can better imagine themselves as the police when we look like them, talk like them, or can relate to where they're from. That diverse community connection is something IMPD has been deliberately working at for some time now. That's how this 20th class, as the mayor said, came to have the most women and became one of the most ethnically diverse this department has ever seen. That is huge. That's enormous. And my classmates that make that a reality deserve recognition for taking on inequitable representation in policing. They're changing the narrative of who you can be regardless of where you start. Taking pride in your roots and in being the police. Taking on a 400-year-old problem. Pursuing this job even if it takes 6 tries to get in. Being the change they want to see. That cannot be easy. I guarantee you it's already been tough to be in a traditionally white, straight, male-dominated role, committing to a career of standing with a foot in each of 2 camps, not fully in either one, but fully invested in bringing them together. Putting purpose before self. That's powerful living change. Now, I'm a millennial, so I know how to complain, especially about large, complex societal issues. That's what we do. But I'm going to break my millennial mold here, and rather than just complain, I'm going to offer a solution. The solution, or challenge rather, is for my class to make a daily effort to better educate the public about what it is we do and how much we truly care, to sow those seeds of trust. We're fresh out of the academy, or almost out of the academy, so we're in a prime position to do that, to educate folks, and as the chief said, to listen. It's time to do so on both a person-to-person and wider-reaching public relations basis. Use cell phones and body cams to our advantage. Talk to everybody. Consensual encounters are where it's at. The kicker here is that it's not so much a challenge as an obligation. So as tomorrow's peacekeepers, quite literally tomorrow for some, myself included, and the human expression of our local government, we've got to continue the positive work of so many on this department. Now, I'm at least 5 minutes over my 5-minute speech, probably more like 10. So here's the Spark Notes version of the rest of it. Keep things balanced. Be able to change gears. Form good habits. Make good decisions. Learn from your mistakes. Shout out the decision-making model. We're starting fully. Slow down to do things right. I'm going to say that again so I remember. Slow down to do things right. Utilize time and distance. Listen actively. Take the highs with the lows. Give folks your best when they may be at their worst. Show them respect. And be curious about the people and places on your beat. Like Sergeant Sullivan says, police work is not hard. It's just complex. Which to me it still means hard, but hey. That's all I've got for you guys. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for letting me speak before you today. Love you guys, love you all, and thank you all very much.
Thank you, Officer Seaton. Now I'd like to take a minute to thank a few people in the crowd today. The representatives of the City County Council and the Merit Board, Councilor Dan Boots, and retired Lieutenant Diana Ferguson Mosley. Of course, none of this would be possible without the Academy staff. The mayor, command staff, albeit smaller, Director Brown and your missing HR staff, they're normally here, but we appreciate all their efforts. But most importantly, for you guys, the families and the friends, your families and friends are here today. You want to show them the round of applause they deserve? And now what you've been waiting for. Mayor Hogshead, would you administer the oath of office, please?
Up and shut. Raise your right hand.
Please repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Indiana, and that I will faithfully discharge my duties as an officer of the Consolidated City of Indianapolis under this appointment, according to law and to city ordinances, to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations. As just a moment of personal privilege, Commander, I simply want to remark, having listened to Officer Seaton's class remarks, I'm so desperately happy that the mayor's race was last year.
Be seated. Award presenters, please make your way to the stage. Every recruit class has awards for recruits who achieve the highest score or the highest level of proficiency in a particular area. Today, we will present 9 awards to a few deserving recruits. Academic achievement will be presented by Detective David Rock.
Mayor, chiefs, and the rest of my IMPD family, once again, it is a great privilege for police and fire to present this award. And Mayor, we present the academic award to a lawyer, a warrior, and a thinker, Casey Seaton. Casey, come on up here.
Mental attitude will be presented by Officer Damon Young.
The Best Mental Attitude Award is voted by the recruit class based on a recruit officer's overall attitude throughout the class, positive outlook, resilient behavior, and always ready for the next challenge. This award is sponsored by the Eastside Optimist Club, who was unable to be here today, and it is my honor to present the Best Mental Attitude Award to Jason Garcia.
Criminal Law Award will be presented by Mr. John Kautzman.
Good afternoon. It's nice to see each of you again, as I did at the recruit presentation that we had not too long ago, but it is really a pleasure to be here. On behalf of my entire law firm, Ruckelhaus, Kautzman, Blackwell, Bemis, Merchant, and Duncan, I want you to know that we are here for you, we continue to be here for you, and we are a great supporter of everything that you do. And we want to be not only here for you, but a great cheerleader for you as you go out into the public and do us proud. I just want to reference really quickly that I've come to a lot of these presentations in my 30-some years of representing police officers, and I'm not sure I've heard better remarks at any of these presentations as I have today. I want to thank the mayor for his comments, the chief for his wonderful comments as well, and your class representative. They truly are reminders of the thing that I talked to you about when I saw each of you at the academy, and that is, despite the national headlines, you are not the problem. You are not the problem. You are the solution to what is needed to be done to bring this country together. And I am so proud to be walking alongside of you, as I know that each one of you will step up to the plate and take on that responsibility in a way that makes us proud. So thank you very much for all you do. On behalf of my law firm, we are pleased and privileged to present the Criminal Law Award to Marky Deloney.
And the award for emergency vehicle operations will be presented by Officer Jason Gross.
Hello. Emergency vehicle operations driver training is a combination of both classroom and practical instruction. Recruit officers attend extensive classroom instruction on non-emergency, emergency driving techniques, general orders, and best practices, along with pursuit driving. Students review state and local laws as they pertain to the operation of a police vehicle. Recruits attend a practical driving instruction and evaluation at the Emergency Vehicle Operations course located at the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy in Plainfield, Indiana. Recruits are then instructed and evaluated on simple to complex driving skill, then complete a series of driving courses to evaluate their operation of a police vehicle under stressful conditions. The Emergency Vehicle Operations Award is a combination of written test scores, practical evaluations decided on by the driving instructors that instruct the recruits during the week of training. The award is presented to the recruit who stood out overall between the written tests and practical driving. The winner of this award is issued a brand new police car. So good looking out for that. The Emergency Vehicle Operations Award for the 19th recruit class goes to Adam Staub. Their brand new police car.
The award for firearms training will be presented by Sergeant Michael Daly.
The Firearms Award is based upon Indiana State Firearms Qualifications, IMPD Firearms Qualifications, and a written exam. The competition for the 20th Recruit Class Top Gun was very fierce. 0.1% separates the first and second place. The winner of the 20th Recruit Class Top Gun Firearms Award is Officer Brandon Moore.
The Physical Training Award will be presented by Officer Charles Lewis.
Good afternoon. Today is a fun day. Fortunately, it's not a run day. IMPD Training Academy has always put physical fitness as one of its top priorities, and for good reason. The 20th IMPD recruit class was required to meet physical standards ranging from sit-ups, push-ups, and a 1.5 mile run. And this is where we would come in to assist. For 28 weeks, instructors would help condition the recruits, but from time to time, the recruits would seem to forget and need reminding of certain protocol for the academy rules. These reminders would be handed out by, let's say, a front-leaning rest, or dare I say, burpees. Yay, burpees! Never gets old. See, they love it. These recruits have demonstrated and passed the exit standards, also excelled and went above beyond the standards. In fact, this one recruit has met the Olympic standards, which means they have excelled in every category with the physical fitness test that was given and went above those standards. More important than all of that, this recruit demonstrated has demonstrated leadership in every PT session by putting 110% effort and constantly motivating his fellow recruits. The Physical Fitness Award for the 20th IMPD recruit class goes to Recruit Officer Casey Seaton.
This next award for survival tactics will be presented by Sergeant Tony Patterson. I would like to point out that when this class started, Sergeant Patterson was Officer Patterson, and he was working very closely with this class. So he's back now as Sergeant Patterson to present this award.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, 20th. Man, it's been a long time. This class is taking forever, it seems. The time frame has been the same, but the stuff that this class has been through, it's been remarkable. So the commander won't tell you this, but on behalf of the academy staff, y'all ain't got to go home, but you got to get the heck out of here. The Survival Tactics Award is typically given to the recruit that demonstrates that warrior spirit, that mental toughness. Not given typically to the recruit that is the best fighter, although we do teach your level ones how to fight, but there's so much that goes into use of force. And it just starts by having conversations. And so the commander with each class gives the academy staff the daunting task of selecting the best out of a group of superstars, and we certainly have an entire class of superstars. So I would like to present the Survival Tactics Award, which is sponsored by the Jake Lear Memorial Fund, to Officer Amari Stringer.
One more round. And we miss you, Sergeant Patterson. The Leadership Award will be presented by Sergeant Jay Barrow.
The IMPD Leadership Academy Alumni Association awards one recruit from each class who demonstrated the IMPD leadership test of doing the right thing at the right time, in the right way, and for the right reason. This award is nominated by the instructors and selected by the IMPD Leadership Academy Alumni Association. This award is based on overall leadership by a recruit officer within the class. It is my honor to present the 20th Recruit Class Leadership Award to Officer Casey C.
Chief Taylor, will you please join me for the presentation of the Richard I. Blankenbaker Overall Achievement Award? The winner of the Richard I. Blankenbaker Overall Achievement Award is the recruit with the highest average score across 6 categories. The 6 categories are academics, emergency vehicle operations, firearms, survival tactics, physical training, and law. This class, I am proud to announce the winner of this award is Recruit Officer Marquis Deloney. Mayor Hogsett, would you please join Chief Taylor on your mark, on your socially distanced mark? for the presentation of the badges. Officer Katrina Bell. You may clap. Officer Christina Bloom. Officer Forrest Brewster. Officer Daniel Carrera. Officer Crystal Davis. Officer Marquis Deloney. Officer Cody Elder. Officer Chelsea Fenley. Officer Christina Friel. Officer Jason Garcia. Officer John Gomez. Officer Marina Gonzalez. Officer Andre Good. Officer Donovan Hankins. Officer Mitchell Harris. Officer Julian Hernandez. Officer Isaac Hess. Officer Chelsea Holliday. Officer Chandler Kent. Officer Jacob Kennett. Officer Ezekiel McCarthy. Officer Matthew Mobley. Officer Brooke Moeller. Officer Brandon Moore. Officer Valery Novotny. Officer Madeline O'Day. Officer Wilfredo Pagan. Officer Danielle Pruitt. Officer Brian Reed. Officer Caitlin Rude. Officer Yoseline Ricaldi. Officer Lucas Riley. Officer Noah Ryan. Officer Steven Sanchez. Officer Allison Sancarelli. Officer Jacob Scheid. Officer Brooke Schenk. Officer Casey Seaton. Officer Dylan Sheets. Officer Elizabeth Shell. Officer Chelsea Shelley. Officer Dayana Smith. Officer Dustin Spray. Officer Adam Staub. Officer Jack Steinecker. Officer Kyle Stewart. Officer Omari Stringer. Officer Daniel Trump. Officer Trace Wellman. and Officer Benjamin Wong. At this time, if you were asked to pin your recruit, please join him or her on the floor. You may pin your officer. Ladies and gentlemen, the 20th IMPD recruit class.